Nothing is more dependable than a man's best friend. Today's tale would definitely persuade you if you didn't think dogs were pretty amazing before. So, for a very unexpected and painful reason, why does this dog go to Mass every single day? There's a tiny church where daily Mass is celebrated in a small Italian town close to the city of Brindisi. This is not unusual. Daily Mass is still offered in numerous small Italian towns, and enormous crowds continue to support them. What you don't frequently see, however, is a dog attending daily Mass or simply sitting calmly during the ceremony until he goes again, as when the door opens after the service. However, this is what has been occurring in this little town of San Donasi, where the German Shepherd has evolved into a fixture by attending church every day for months. His actions are quite peculiar. Usually the only time you would encounter an animal at these kinds of events is if there were support dogs. However, according to dependable, the priest at this church, this dog was coming in by himself and looking incredibly depressed every time he did it. The remainder of the congregation is unconcerned, but every time the dog entered on his own, he appeared incredibly dejected. The rest of the congregation at this church, according to Donate, the priest, doesn't mind the dog entering because he's so calm and respectful, but they are beginning to question what it is that he sees. He reclines in front of the altar and keeps his gaze fixed there. Because they believe he could be able to see the dead, some of the individuals in his immediate vicinity have even begun to show signs of panic. The dog appeared to be really familiar, but Donata couldn't place it because he was a huge dog lover and had lately lost his own puppy. Was he truly looking for assistance, or was he looking for a place to sleep and some shelter? The priest had a nagging suspicion that the dog needed assistance and may have been looking for it. After Mass one day, as the dog was about to depart, the first thing to do would be to get the boy a little bit cleaned up. After giving him a few snacks, they bathed him, because you never know how a dog will respond to water. They were a little hesitant to do this, but this wonderful pup just let them wash and dry him and even appeared to enjoy the attention. The priest and the kids fed him after he had taken a wash. He was a little on the thin side, but the priest was certain he had seen something now more than ever. He was unable to recall where the dog had been earlier. For the time being, he put the mystery on hold in favor of tending to the puppy. Ensuring his health was necessary. He made the decision to take the adorable German Shepherd to the local vet because he might be asking them for assistance, and they may not have recognized that he was in agony. To their surprise, the dog didn't seem to mind that they put him on a leash. He obediently followed the priest to the veterinarian the entire distance. He received a thorough examination from the vet there. He was in perfect health. Sadly, he lacked a microchip, so they were unable to locate any indication of his owner. Another dead end. But at least they have taken care of him. So would they ever find out why this dog was attending church services, or where he resided before starting to frequent the building? The priest led the dog back to the church as they passed various stores. Feeling discouraged and disappointed, a youngster emerged and began to pet the dog. In fact, he gave him a hug and called him Tommy. The priest was taken aback when the youngster named the dog by his name. So she inquired as to why. The boy replied, a little perplexed, I called it that since it was my name. I've known the dog for years. We all know this is Tommy, the rescue dog from one of the elderly ladies who lived in the area, Maria Loci. Eventually, the priest recalled where he had previously seen the dog. He was constantly seen strolling around with his owner. He was a little bit slimmer now, and he had been quite filthy when he first arrived at the church, but now it was evident that the dog was Maria's cherished Tommy. Maria was a compassionate woman who enjoyed saving animals. While she had other rescue dogs in the past, she felt a particularly strong connection to Tommy. When he was barely a puppy, she discovered him in the fields close to her house. At the time, he was very ill and had recently been abandoned by others. Despite several close calls, she had saved him and brought him back to health. Eventually, he was happy, healthy dog and accompanied her wherever she went. He was always by her side if she went shopping, even went to church with her. However, he always waited outside until she came looking for him back then. Then why would he be going inside now? And why wasn't he near his best friend? It was a sad fact that she had passed away a few months earlier. She had no family in the neighborhood, and it appeared that her beloved pet had resumed his existence on the streets, save from the periods when he would visit the local church each day to make sure that no one was missing. Tommy and the priest started by visiting the house where Maria had resided. It was rather outside of town, and it was obviously deserted. The flower gardens Maria always took such careful care of had long grass and were overrun with weeds. Tommy, though, became incredibly enthusiastic as they neared. He sprinted to the fence gap and sat down on a dog bed on the porch. Even though there was no longer someone to look after him, it was obviously that he considered this spot to be his home. Tommy declined to accompany the priest when he wanted to leave because he knew he would see the dog at Mass as usual. He was given space by the priest to investigate the enigma alone. The priest was aware of what was on, but he still needed to double-check something. He went back to the church and left Tommy some food, some water, and a blanket in case he got cold. He then went to look at the surveillance equipment. He took a look at some of the most recent footage before traveling back in time to watch some from a few months earlier. What he learned was completely absurd. He started by watching the video of Maria's funeral, which he had overlooked at the time. On the other hand, Tommy was walking into the church while the funeral procession was being led. Knowing that this would be his last farewell to his favorite person, he carefully followed the casket on the identical area where he would now lie down each and every day. He proceeded to lie down next to the casket and remained there throughout the whole funeral service. Further back in the tape, the priest observed Maria attending Mass every day. Tommy would be instructed to remain outside, and she would enter the room and take a seat in her favorite chair. Tommy would keep an eye on Maria from the door, ensuring her safety, and then once he received all the love and attention he could handle, he might not have the person he really wants with him. But at least the community had ensured that he won't ever be alone again, just as Maria would have desired. Do you really believe that if you were gone, your dog would miss you so dearly? Thanks for watching this video, and please share your views and opinions in the section below. Please join us once more for even more uplifting